So to start with, you'll see as far as the canopy, there are three canopy locks. There's one on this side, obviously there's one on this side, and then there's one in the back, which here's the lock for it, but or there's the bracket for it, but there's the lock up on top. It's very simple, and as you're flying, the canopy is going to raise up, and it's going to raise up just like this. You're going to end up with a ½ inch back here and a tremendous amount of suction, and you'll feel it on the back of your neck back here as the air is getting pulled out underneath. So you're going to want that lock in there to pull this all the way down. Now, incidentally, when I smoothed this out, when it's already all the way locked down, the canopy rail is actually smooth with the turtle deck. That took a little bit of work. I had to put this down and lock it, and so the question is, how do you lock a canopy when you can't be inside to lock it down? Well, what I did is I took trucker straps and I put them over the top of the canopy with heavy blankets over it so I didn't scratch anything. But I put that over the canopy, and then I ratcheted it down to get the canopy all the way down, and then I built this material up until it matched this, sanded it all smooth to get that nice clean finish. Otherwise, I don't know any other way to do it. That's how I did it. Your mileage may vary, and you can do whatever you think works best. Inside, as far as inside the cockpit, you can see that each of the seats has got a submarine belt. So I've got 5 points holding me in the airplane, and that's in the event that this airplane stops fast. I don't end up hitting parts of my body on the stick, which is right there between your legs. Actually, let's talk about the sticks here a little bit before I climb in. So the right-hand stick is the standard stick for the back seat of an F4 Phantom. You can see it's got the standard switch is -1. It's missing the thumb switch for the right hand. The left-hand stick, the pilot stick in this plane, is out of an F4 Phantom as well. And all of the switches except for the weapon select switch, all of them are functional. My trim switch is the next one. So I got push to talk, trim switch. This is autopilot disconnect. This switch actually switches the light configuration on the wingtip lights for the strobes. So I can go 1, 2, 3, or 4 flash. Starters on there. As you can see, it's labeled here, starter. And I've got my flap switch here where the speed brakes would be in a military aircraft. Yellow switch, or the yellow knob here, is for the mixture, and both of those are run so that you can see it. Both of those are running push rods, and push rods run up to a bell crank and then into the engine. Under here, I've got when I'm flying, I've got an armrest here, and underneath the armrest is my ICS panel. I put this on top so that my arm rests on that, and again, you'll see that when I get into the airplane. In front of my right knee, fuel selector. So I've got left tank, right tank off, and there's one here for fuel going into the engine. And then below it, there is a return line, and it has an identical switch on it. I can move fuel if they both match, and I've got, like in this case right now, I've got the left tank selected. So fuel is coming from the left tank. It's filling up the main bag in the nose, which is 12 gallons. There's a return line up there so that the nose tank doesn't overpressurize. The return line takes it back to the left tank. I can split those, so I can select left tank in, right tank out, or vice versa, so that I can push fuel into the fuel tank, into the nose tank, and transfer it to the other side if I need to for balance. The battery is in front of the co-pilot, or the passenger seat. That was done for weight and balance purposes. A lot of guys put that out in front of the firewall. My plane's got a turbo on it as well. That's another 12 pounds that's up on the nose, so moving the battery back was the right call for me. You might even want to move it back behind the back spar, but that seems like an awful long way to be running cables to start the engine, but that's my opinion. The turbo can get quite warm, and especially after landing, even if you've been taxiing and you've been at idle for a long time. But I found that this whole area, even with heat shielding underneath, gets really, really hot. And without any other places for the air to get out, it stays hot under there. And that can cause vapor lock problems for engine starts. So it takes a long time to cool off. I put this fairing, or I put this in just so that the heat could bleed out naturally when the airplane's sitting. Since I've done that, I've had 2 flights, and I got to tell you that the turbo does stay considerably cooler. The cowling stays cooler too. So I don't have any data, hard data on that, but I can tell you that it seems to be doing its job. And this fairing I just bought on eBay for a couple of bucks. I got 2 of them, and they were in the RC model aircraft category. Okay, in the cockpit, you'll notice that the stick is angled over. It's not straight, like its orientation is not straight. That's because I fly with my elbow on the center console, and so I fly this way, and so that my wrist isn't turned this way, I angle this over, and this works really, really well. It's real easy to think, oh, I'll cut this way down and put the stick lower, so you're flying like this, and it'd be really nice. The problem with that is way down here, you don't have enough authority pushing the stick side to side. So I ended up having to raise my stick about 4 inches from where I had it to begin with. Like, no kidding, I really cut it down. And this is actually a pretty good height. I've got the throws that I need to be able to fly the plane. So that's a good lesson learned. Don't cut that too short. If anything, leave it taller. I mean, if it was up here, it would drive me crazy. But, start out with it higher and then work your way down if you feel strongly that that's what you want to do. Here's my fuel cutoff. Forward is off, and all the way back opens the fuel up. The reason I did that in that direction, if I ever crash, any energy that goes forward is going to push that thing closed automatically. These mirrors happen to be out of an A7 Corsair 2, and both of them. When I check my controls and check them forward and aft, counterbalance horn on the elevator is painted black and yellow. So I can see that I've got positive control. Starting at the bottom, master switch. This is the pump from the wings to get into the main bag. Ignition switch, so that's my master ignition. And then I have Bill's dual coil. Yes, it has an old-fashioned distributor, and some of you new guys may not even know what the heck that is. But so this has got a points and condenser. This side is totally in optics, so it's much more accurate. There's about a 2-degree split between these, so I'm timed to this. So if the engine's running rough, I feel like I'm getting pre-ignition, I can easily flick back down to this. This is my backup. Everything in the airplane has a backup somewhere, or almost everything. I didn't have any single point of failure that would catastrophically take the plane down. So everything is guarded. It's guarded to on. Now the pump I don't really care about. If it's on, great. If it's not on, well, that's fine too. It's not going to crash the airplane. But these, if either of these go off, well, the plane crashes. When I'm off, then I have to open it. I have to manually open it and flip it off, especially with the master. Now, there are times, closing the canopy here for a second, there are times when I will fly with an iPad here. So that may be blocking my view. So from right here, my iPad's here and I can't see these. But if I reach under and I can feel everything, I know tactilely, I know where all of my switches are. But the instrument panel comes back at the pilot and co-pilot seat. It comes back about 5 inches. And down lower, it comes back 6 or 7. The reason for that is twofold. One is I don't want the sun coming in on the side of my MFDs or being washed out. I wanted these to be where I could reach easily from the throttle right up to these and not having to be leaning forward to get to them. So everything is within reach. So if I'm flying the plane with one hand and I need to do anything with the airplane, I can take my hand off the throttle and take it off the rest, and I can reach up and I can touch anything I need. Everything I need is within arm's reach, and I don't have to go forward. These switches are my external lights, circuit breakers for that. This switch is internal light, so I've got internal lights in the cockpit as well if I need them. Other than the switch on the bottom of the stick, this switch will alternate my flash patterns, or change my flash pattern if you prefer. So compass, well, that's self-explanatory. And that makes sense because as I'm flying, I want that, if I need to be working on the wet compass, it's already going to be hard enough. I want that right in front of me. This is my fuel tanks, my wing fuel tanks. These are LED lights. And if the switches out there read less than 3 gallons in the tank, I'm going to get a light. And let me tell you, these things, they're just standard LED lights, but they are super bright in your eyes. The clock is not an ideal situation or ideal spot, but if I've got my iPad here, there's a clock on that too. There's usually a clock on my EKP4, and there's clocks on this, and there's a clock on this. So I've got clocks all around the cockpit. I'm not going to talk about the Dynon. It's a fantastic system. I really, really like it. This is my second one. My first one's over there, my Flight Deck D180. I love them both. The EKP4 was the first piece of a glass cockpit I ever got. It still works great. It's got multiple features that I really, really like. It's got an HSI feature that's really, really good. If you put your nav points in and you use that just as an HSI, it's great. Standard altimeter, and I've got a VOR ILS. This is a Narco nav 122. It is in need right now of being recalibrated, but it's a good system. The ILS part of it is great. My backup is intentionally different than this. The reason I did that is if there's a problem with this, whatever it might be, this is completely separate, and it's completely different programming and different equipment entirely, so that if one of these two fails, the odds are good that the other one is going to be just fine. Both of them have battery backups, by the way. Over here, I've got power, so I can power up the iPad if I need to, or anything else that I can charge from the aircraft with a USB connection. And this is my heat pan, or here's my heat. Moving back a little bit farther, I've got my radio head here. This is an ideal place for it, in my opinion, because it's easy to reach. I can reach it with both hands. Here is my CO2 monitor, and this is just a standard carbon monoxide monitor or CO monitor, I guess. I leave it in here so it's not oversensitive, but dang, the thing is loud. The standard warning. I put the standard warning in here because I have to, but I wanted to have a little bit of fun with this too. Warning: this aircraft is amateur built and does not comply with federal regulations for, quote, standard aircraft, unquote. The Ark was also amateur built, unlike the professionally built Titanic.